we will be getting a deed for the Harrisville Depot, hopefully by the end of the year. And we're working on setting up our environmental testing on the property, before that deed transfer. It's very important, through Eagle that we have that 45 days within the deed transfer. In order to do that, we've been working with Julie Lowe out of the Gaylord office, and she asked us to request from you a letter of support from the county for our project to be sent to Julie. That's one of the requirements of us getting the phase 1 and phase 2 testing on the depot property paid for under the Eagle program. I have this with contact information.
Yeah, leave her here if you would. Or, can you stick around and talk to me after, or?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want, if you can, or I'd like to talk.
I reached out to Carolyn, but she hasn't reached back to me, and I
Okay.
understand she's otherwise occupied.
Yeah, it sounds like something that's time sensitive, so,
Yeah, but I can hang around.
yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Anyone else, public comment? Gary,
Gary Van Us, Mitchell Township. I just wanted to comment on last 2 weeks ago meeting. I believe that the individual that addressed this council at the end was awful condescending, pompous, arrogant. And I think, he was over appeasing to the board, but not being accountable to the citizens of this county. We're just asking for information. Claims to be a minister of the gospel. Must be another gospel, because it doesn't seem to be too much light and too much truth coming out of the organization. And I think the directors of that board need to hold this person accountable. And I think his comments were appalling last time, and I think the board should admonish him for it, that run that board. Thank you.
thanks, Gary. Anyone else, public comment?
Yes, I apologize for being late. I just stopped in to talk to the county prosecutor. I had an issue. I did training this weekend to be a challenger at the polls on election day. And I was made aware of some of the open carry laws and that sort of thing. What constitutes a threat to other voters in a polling place. And apparently this is, I was thinking that the county commissioners could maybe pass a resolution saying that open carry would not be allowed in polling places, but apparently that is a state law issue. So I'm wondering if the county commissioners would at least approach our state senator and representative and ask them to pursue legislation, which would be required. It would have to be state approved legislation to prohibit open carry. You can't prohibit closed CCW laws, but open carry in a polling place. I know I would feel very threatened by somebody walking in with their rifle. I think the scene that happened at the state capitol was really unnerving. And I think for the safety of voters and for the comfort level of people coming into a polling place, we obviously can't do anything about this election coming up, but we'll have another election. And I would really appreciate it if the county commissioners would consider asking our state lawmakers to pass such a law.
Thank you. Anyone else, public comment? Anybody online, public comment? Okay, moving on. No chats, okay. First presentation is Troy Summers, Equalization Director for the Tentative Apportionment Report.
You guys received my apportionment report with all the millages on it, and kind of self-explains what the millages are spread through the county. We're still waiting. I'll be back in December when it's final, because we have 2 on the ballot. So that will be coming on next week, or not, then I have to pass or not. But this gives you a breakdown. Last page gives you the total, gives you the dollar amounts and everything. So if you do have questions, you're more welcome to stop in and ask me on them, but all the millages that are spread throughout Cone County are on in schools, Kirtland Core, townships, city, and so forth. But totals are on the last page, for the total millages. So. I got that, if there's ever any questions, stop in and ask me, and
Okay,
I'll be back in December to give you the final one.
okay.
Can
Thanks,
you
Director.
forward me a copy of that, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next up, Los Cordes, Register of Deeds regarding record preservation.
Mhm. John. Now, John told me this would be super simple, right? And I'm following his directions, but
I don't know how that works. You just gotta hit share screen or something like that.
He's coming.
which I did.
Need a 5-year-old child. So we'll just go, but.
Well,
Just that right there.
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I skipped over that part.
And then click share.
Good to have tech
Yes.
support.
And there you go.
Okay, thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna navigate my way through this. Hopefully, everything goes according to plan. But I am here today to bring you some information about property record preservation. In September, I attended the Michigan Association of Register of Deeds conference, and at that point had the opportunity to tour Underground Security Company. So Underground Security Company specializes in secure storage of irreplaceable records. They're housed in a former gypsum mine, which is located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The mine is located 85 feet down or 10 stories, however you choose to determine that. Temperature and humidity stay at a natural consistency, and that's at around 50 degrees Fahrenheit year round. So the company was started by a gentleman named Gordon in 1971, and he was a traveling microfilm salesman. The company is currently under its third generation of ownership. Gordon at the time knew that the conditions of the mine would be suitable for the preservation of irreplaceable records and film. So some items that you would find stored with Underground Security could be microfilm, microfiche, CDs, DVDs, hard drives, original paper documents, irreplaceable items, and also artifacts. So here we are exiting the freight elevator that took us down the 85 feet to the tunnels. There's approximately 6 miles of tunnels located within this mine. This is one of the newer tunnels that was formed, which you can see is distinguished by the multiple drill marks along the walls. At the end of this tunnel was a cold storage unit. And there are multiple businesses that actually rent space within the mine for storage. Here we're inside the storage unit, which of course was the cooled one, has barrels of liquid that are being stored in there. We also noticed multiple paper files being stored in the tunnels. There was a huge portion of non-perishable foods stored along there as well. I don't know if I can, it's kind of cutting off my presentation, sorry. Underground Security is actually located behind a secure door. Our records are located in room B of their section of the mine. There are currently 75% of the counties that store with Underground Security Company. So inside the room B is nothing but file cabinets from floor to ceiling. Here we have file drawers A through F, which contain nothing but Alcona County records. Each drawer is clearly labeled on the front as to what documents are located within inside. So this is just a view of drawer D, which houses the Alcona County records. Microfilm, when it's received by Underground Security, is labeled and barcoded and then placed in its appropriate place for inventory purposes. So this drawer contains Liber 485 through the most recent film that was sent to them. They received on June 17th of this year. The temperature remains at 62 degrees with a relative humidity of 35%. And that consistent temperature and humidity is what makes it so great to store film within the mine. I want to talk a little bit about protection. So history has shown us the importance of protecting our vital records from catastrophic events. In April of 2013, Grand Rapids experienced a 100-year flood, but the mine remained dry. Might be hard to see that in the picture, but if you look closely, there are kayakers that are actually kayaking close to those light posts. That's how high the water level was in downtown Grand Rapids at that time. This just shows us what water damage can do to vital records. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina destroyed irreplaceable records throughout the states of Louisiana and Mississippi. And also our recent events, we just had Hurricane Ian, which I'm sure we have not, we do not know the full impact of that yet. The National Personnel Records Center in St. Louis, Missouri was destroyed by fire in 1973. So this fire actually destroyed millions of military personnel records, which dated between 1912 and 1964. The fire burned for 22 hours and there was an 80% loss. November 13th of 1953, Alcona County Courthouse caught fire. The irreplaceable records of the Register of Deeds office were housed in a fireproof vault and remained undamaged, as well as the records of the clerk, treasurer, and the probate offices. But although the records remained undamaged, the county suffered a huge loss. So here we have a picture of the Alcona County Courthouse, which stood from 1870 to 1953. In 1956, the photo at the top is the building that was erected, which now serves as our current courthouse. I'm going to talk a little bit now about the microfilm. So years ago, microfilm was actually developed by staff in the Register of Deeds office, and that began somewhere in the 60s. There were two roles that were developed. One was kept as a working role within the office. The other was sent to Underground Security for safekeeping. Microfilming of the documents still does continue today. That is handled through US Imaging, which is out of Saginaw, Michigan. So the first, what I find, the first record sent to Underground Security took place in 1977. And upon taking office in 2018, myself and my staff member verified that all the documents recorded in the Register of Deeds office were on film and accounted for in storage with Underground Security Company. So we know today that hardware and software can become obsolete over time. The durability of electronic records has not been proven to be as enduring as microfilm. The Michigan Electronic Recording Commission actually recommends that you preserve your electronic documents on film for preservation. Microfilm is a safe and inexpensive way to secure those permanent records. And when stored properly, microfilm will last 500 years. So the Alcona County Register of Deeds Office is required to preserve the property records permanently. The oldest records in the office date back to 1864. Documents prior to 1980 are found in the books that you see pictured here. Documents that are recorded from 1980 to present day are all searchable and located on the computer. And currently, those documents, same time era from 1980 to present, are housed in a server that is hosted offsite here in Altoona, Iowa. It's owned by Fiddler Technologies, which is who our program is through. That server is also backed up by another server, which is located in Bettendorf, Iowa. And this is just to ensure that the electronic records are protected in the event of a catastrophic event. So some of the documents that can be contained in the Register of Deeds office would be deeds, mortgages, land contracts, liens, easements, land surveys, subdivision plat maps, and also oil and gas leases. In January of 2022, US Imaging came and completed a scan project, which converted and digitized the index books that you see here and also our subdivision plat maps to be searchable and found on the computer. The cost of that project was just over $12,000, but projects like this will need to be done in the future to ensure that we can search all documents by computer. So just to recap why we use underground security, it's prime conditions for the preservation of the microfilm. It's protection from any catastrophic events that could take place here. And it truly is the most cost-effective way to preserve those permanent land records. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. All right, that concludes it. Thank you.
Cool, thanks. Learned a lot. Is that so far underground because of radiation too? Does that affect the film?
I don't know. They didn't say anything about radiation, but
What's in the barrels? What's the liquid?
those barrels are actually, they are from Founders Brewery. So they had just given us permission to allow us to view the inside of the unit, so.
Who has access to these, to get into those files?
May I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's the property records that are with underground security. They are actually in a secured, it's kind of like a secured building inside the mine. So they're behind a secured locked
I
door.
just wondered by access,
Oh.
I mean, like, you were looking for some of them records to get, to find out what, you might have a question on a deed or something that
Mhm.
took place in 1900 or something of that nature.
But those are the
What would
backup.
you have to do to get into that, to find that information?
So, that information is just the backup information, but I would just need to contact underground security. A lot of times they would go down and pull that film and ship it to me.
Oh, okay.
They used to have, I believe they have the capability to view it, but they're not able to print anything at this point.
That's.
So, Thank you.
Yeah, nice. Next up is Jennifer Wanstead, 44 North Representative.
I have the health renewal for 2023. I have lots of spreadsheets. And we don't have to go through them line by line. I'm going to give them the extra ones too. They're just options, but I'll go through the actual renewal. Sometimes, yeah. They're all labeled up in the top right hand corner, that's where it's front of referencing. We'll go through. I like to be kind of, to be honest.
My old eyes.
Yeah. This was on letter side paper, it's very difficult. And you know. We have these options. Yes. I think Sarah's still on. She's from our leadership team. I just asked her to sit in on the call just to show our commitment to your guys' service. And we want to make sure your needs are always met. So if there's anything that you want to ask her about, she's remote, so we won't make her talk much. So our priority health renewal for Alcona County came in at an overall 15.35 increase. So that includes the HSA plan and the employer contribution, along with that HMO plan. I'll go through the plan side by side. So the current plan for the HSA is a 2,000, 4,000 family deductible with a 20% co-insurance. It has a $15 generic drug card with $50, $80 for those brand prescriptions, along with a 20% co-insurance for your specialty drugs. Those are all after deductible. Office visits are all covered at 80% after they meet that deductible of 2,000 for a single or 4,000 for a two-person or family. That goes with 1,000 employer contribution for a single or 2,000 contribution for a two-person or family contract. So currently, for a single contract, Priority Health is charging $413.23. That is renewing at $485.58. For a two-person contract, it's currently $991.75, renewing at $1,165.39. And for a family, currently $1,239.69, renewing at $1,456.74. So that specific plan is getting a 17.51% increase or a $74,144 increase. Now, with the new caps released for 2023, that plan is still below cap, which is going to remain a free plan to employees. We did put a Blue Cross option over there just to show what the savings is by staying with Priority Health. You'll see that with a plan very similar through Blue Care Network, it is about 32% higher than what you're paying now, or $135,000 more just to switch carriers. So currently with that HMO plan, the deductible is 2,000 for a single or 4,000 for a two-person family, the same 20% co-insurance. Prescription card matches again with $15 for generics, $50 for brand tier ones, $80 for brand tier twos, and 20% copay for your specialty drugs. Your office visits and specialists have a flat copay, so $20 for an office visit, $35 to see your specialist, $20 for chiropractic, $50 if you go to urgent care, and $150 if you go to emergency room. And those are not after deductible. That is just a flat copay anytime you go into any of those offices. Now, those rates currently for a single is $485.96. That is renewing at $571.15. For a two-person, it's $1,166.31, renewing at $1,370.76. And for a family, $1,457.88, renewing at $1,713.45. So this plan is seeing about a 17.53% increase, but because there's less enrollment on there, it's actually a lower annual increase of $7,974. So combined, that brings that down, once we spread it across all employees, a 15.35% increase, or a cost change of about $82,000. So that current plan, we do a 15% cost share to the employees. So for 2022, A single contract was paying $72.89 monthly. Two-person contract was paying $174.95 monthly, and a family was paying $218.68 monthly. That cost increase would go up to $85.67 for a single, $205.61 for a two-person, and $257.02 for a family. Again, that's monthly. So a little bit of a cost change there, more of a liability on the employees. So spreadsheets 2, we made some adjustments to the HSA plan. And just showing we could go both ways. We could enhance it a little bit and take that co-insurance down from 20% to 10%. And you would see an overall increase instead of 15.15% increase, you'd see about an 18.18% increase. And that is the main difference on that plan, is just that change in co-insurance. The other two plans reduce the co-insurance, the option number 2 reduces the co-insurance to 0%, and that would cost about 26.32% more. Option 3, the primary difference there is that deductible going from 2,000 for a single, 4,000 for a two-person family, to 1,500 for a single, or 3,000 for a two-person family contract, and that gives an increase of about 19.6%. And those hard cap amounts are below it, and the 15% cost share that employees would see. And spreadsheet 3 is some tweaks to that current HMO plan. Because this one is a plan that the employees are paying for, I thought that the board should recognize maybe some enhancements that could be offered with that plan. So currently they are with a 2,000, 4,000 deductible and a 20% co-insurance. So option 1 is just lowering that co-insurance from 20% to 10%. And that would cost, the cost change from current is about $9,500. Option 2 reduces that deductible from a 2,000 single, 4,000 two-person family to a 1,500 single, 3,000 two-person family. And that cost change is $10,000 annually. Option 3 reduces that deductible from 2,000, 4,000 to 1,000, 2,000. That cost change is about $12,500. And option number 4 is a pretty drastic cost change on that deductible amount, decreasing it from 2,000, 4,000 down to 750 or 1,500. And that would cost an additional $13,800 annually. So these are just some recommendations for the board to take into consideration. And I'll follow up with Stephanie and Trina on what the next steps are on those.
I did have a question.
Yes.
So what happens to the plan if everyone switches from the HSA to the HRA? Is that gonna drive that percentage increase up even higher?
No, because they take that, that's right, it's like blended, it's a blended rate, so we kind of suspect that there might be movement from year to year, so we put that in there, so those rates are pretty spot on, so. And with that, the Delta Dental, the VSP Vision, and the Lincoln Financial Group, which is the life portion, has all renewed with no change in rates. So 0% increases on all those.
And then you said 15.35 overall increase.
15.9.
And we had budgeted 15.15.
Yep, 15.3% overall. Any questions?
Yeah.
Don't have to remove the tree.
Everything else goes with higher.
Next. Some, but maybe I'll shoot. Yeah, okay, all right, thanks.
Okay. Okay, next up is claims. Make a motion to approve pre-authorized claims and open claims presented for payment between October 5th, 2022. And October 18th, 2022, for check numbers 148846 to 148997. E-check numbers 1950 to 1970 for a grand total of $1,261,804.47. That's all. Move and supported. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Small,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes. Next item is 2023 MIDC agreement. I can speak to this a little bit, but what I don't have is the figures. MIDC is the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission. It's through the court system. And they award the county a grant monies. And I read, but I didn't get a chance to print it off. But our side of the agreement is finished, but they haven't finished their side of the agreement yet, so. I don't really have anything to report today to give you because I don't have the finished copy from them, so. On here, so I thought I'd speak to it. That's that. Next item is the finance report. There are two things that I printed an email off we have to handle today, and I forgot to bring one. We have to make a change to. Yeah, the law enforcement fund, we had some extra money in revenue, so it increased the bottom line by $3,000 in both revenue and expenditures. I'll make a motion to do that. Second. Who's supported? Any discussion? This one 268 increased by $3,000 in revenue and expenditures. Okay, let's have a roll call.
Thompson,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes. The next is Fund 208 Parks and Rec. They are receiving an extra $3,500 in revenue. So we have to make an adjustment to their bottom line for both that and expenditures for $3,500. I'll make that motion right now. Support. Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Brady,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Small,
Yes. Motion carries. Other than that, finance, we had well, the whole board had a budget meeting last week. And it went pretty well. Once again, I applaud the efforts of our of the individuals who are doing our budget monitoring. It's going very well so far this year. And I feel like we're ahead of schedule for getting our everything straightened out. We should probably make another meeting for another workshop though, because it do non-general funds, right?
only 40.
All 42 of them? That's all? So we don't have everybody here today, so I think I'll reach out, email to everybody, try to set something up for next week. Workshop. That's it for finance, unless, wait and see. Personnel.
Basically, we have sent out emails to the union that we have a particular grievance. We've asked for an extension because of Carolyn being out. And they have granted it till Tuesday. We have another meeting with them.
Okay,
Finally done with that.
okay. How about the treasurer's report?
Anyone who has a dog in Alcona County who has filed for a license in the last year will be receiving your updated postcard. We have our licenses in. And those can be done through the mail. It's just a reminder postcard for renewing your dog license. We have beautiful dog in there. You can call and we can do that by credit card, or you can send a check in and we can mail it back to you. The date is, we only at this time have 1-year licenses. Prices are not going up this year. We have not done an increase. Through the mail, if your animal has an updated rabies, you can just send that certificate. If not, we have all the information. So it's just a matter of getting that taken care of, and they are good through January 1st through December 31st. We have not a whole lot going on. Trying to think where we are in the cycle. We are getting ready for the publications that will be going out in December. So notifications will be sent the beginning of November to pay by December to avoid publication in the paper for forfeited taxes. And then we will have our show cause hearing in January and the foreclosure hearing in February. It's been kind of slow with payments, so everybody get your taxes and save some money. Other than that, we've just been working a lot with the budget and getting things moving forward on that. Does anybody have any questions?
Nope, I think we're good. Thanks, Cheryl. How about the clerk's report?
I received an email late this morning. And it is a public notice and it does affect a small portion of Alcona County. I received it from the Fairview Board of Education and the Oscoda County Clerk's Office, and I'll just read it real quick. It says ballot error concerning Fairview area schools sinking fund millage. An error has been identified on the ballot for the November 8th, 2020 general election in the following townships: Cummins, Clinton, Elmer, and Mitchell. In Alcona County. The November 8th, 2022 election ballots were inadvertently issued by the Oscoda County Clerk's Office with a sinking fund millage that was already voted on in August. And they moved it over to the November ballot. So they sought through their legal counsel and probably the Bureau of Elections, I'm sure. It says this millage proposal was previously passed by the voters on August 2nd. And is not up for reconsideration. A vote cast for this millage proposal will not change the outcome of the August election results, nor will a vote or non-vote invalidate your November 8th, 2020 general election ballot. So it's too late to do anything about it now for a reprint. I don't put them on the ballot when surrounding schools, that county clerk that's responsible for those does. We send it to the clerks for them to proof their ballots before they even go to print, and nothing was mentioned or said. I don't question their ballot, their proposals. I pulled the L4029s for all of the schools. Alcona Schools has 2 millages. AMA's got 3. Core has 4. They all have numerous, so I guess I can see how it was overlooked. But you can disregard that it's on your ballot. It doesn't invalidate it when you go to vote.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Thank you. Various communications in your packet, view at your leisure. Let's do some committee reports. Terry.
Okay, I've been attending the
Consumer Powers meetings in regards to the dam. Both two meetings that they had. It appears that consumers is, their lease is gonna be up in 2 years. They're trying to get ahead of what they're going to do with the dams. And they're seeking public opinion right now of how it affects either closing or keeping them open. And so I will probably have a resolution coming forward like we saw from Elton. That's probably the next meeting in regards to it.
What's the gist of it?
Will be support of keeping them open. We would lose tax money. Obviously, Weston Township, Curtis Township would lose tax money. Not to mention businesses would lose a tremendous amount of income due to the parks and around levy. And that kind of thing, I'm sure all businesses in the all townships, they probably lose because of a large amount of people that use that park. It will be something. It's not just the Asabo River, there's other rivers, dams that are involved in this all through the state. And there's gonna be an organization or my vocabulary fails me right now, but there's going to be an effort to keep them open, I'm sure. And right now, it's just in its infancy of starting. Again, I think consumers is asking for opinions, and there's all kinds of ways of doing that. Either by contacting them or attending, I guess the meetings are all done. But ways to contact them and pass your opinion on, and I will hope that anyone would, one way or the other, because I'm sure there's people who think in terms of green rivers again and having a river with health camps. And I truly do believe that consumers wants to hear from the people about this issue. That's all I have.
Okay. How about you, Bill?
Well, we had our first periodic meeting. Unfortunately, only one organization showed up, and that was the health department. So we're gonna go back to the drawing board to find a way to get more organizations interested in the funds that we were gonna have available through the settlement. So that wasn't a real winner. Fair has its dates for next year, August 8th through the 12th of August is the county fair. Harrisville has gotten a grant, $300,000 grant. It's a 50-50 match for street repairs, and the Northern Michigan Council of Associations, MAC explained that they're still working on trying to get reimbursement for the VEX exemption on property tax, and they're still trying to work out that way where we would get some kind of payment in lieu of when they had their exemption.
Okay. There's a lot of activity in Guston Township right now with solar farm possibilities. There's a public hearing for November 10th for a modification to the current solar ordinance. And if you want to attend, I'll go up to, I think it's at 7 p.m. on November 10th. But there's quite a few property owners that are interested in participating. So you can see some change in the landscape around the middle of the county here in the next year or so. Just a heads up on that going on. Other than that, I have nothing for committee reports. Moving on to the last section of public comment for 5 minutes. Identify yourself and your township. Nobody here?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's you.
Yeah, that's okay. I was trying to be kind and let somebody else go. Gary Mitchell Township again. I want to stay on the senior center. I guess I find it very disheartening that everybody was deluded to believe that the senior center was going to be a senior organization and not more through the organization is starting to go into now. And the ones that are being disenfranchised from what I'm understanding around town are the seniors. Now, I sat on this board when we had a problem with the previous director. And I remember going through that, and there was a lot of turnover in staff and a lot of what's going on now was going on then. And that person was brought to, account for their actions. I don't see that happening this time. I am very disappointed. And I think some pressure needs to be applied to getting some answers, because it seems that this director is being allowed to operate, putting up obstacles that, to me, lead me to believe something's being hidden, number one. And number two, I admonish the board members that are giving him this permission to do so. I think it is out of line, and I think a lot of people need to get involved now, or, we need to stop providing programs like this at all in the county. We're not going to have proper oversight. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Anybody else?
I just wanted to ask Patty Thomas, Harrisville Township, where is this Guston Township meeting? Is it at the Township Hall? And it's about the
Yep.
opportunity for the whole county, or
No,
just?
it's just Gulf Township. Every township has its own zoning.
Okay.
Sorry,
And
I'm
then
not supposed to interact with it. I figured that. Okay.
the other question I have, I'm trying to interact with Commissioner Thompson. What, the grant money that's available from the opioid settlements, are you looking at any agency in the county that would have clients who might benefit from?
We broke it into 3 categories: prevention. Yeah, now I'm gonna have it. Prevention, outcome of it, and I just blew it. There's 3 of them. If the organization fits the 3 items, categories, they were more than welcome to come and present their case. And we would go through a review process and determine what would go back to them. But yeah, we sent out letters to the health department and
DHHS?
the clinic, nobody showed.
That's
Catholic
really
Human
disheartening.
Resources, they came once, a couple days earlier and talked that they were interested and they didn't show.
It was
We had,
published in the paper.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
so
what
it,
time.
it's, I think there's $18,000 a year for so many years that is available, but it has to be used for prevention of opioids.
But I would think DHHS has all of those contacts with all of the agencies that have clients that could benefit.
They should have been knocking the door down.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anybody else? Anybody online? Okay, that being said, we'll adjourn the meeting till November 2nd. Thanks, everybody. Yeah,
Send an email in regards to a meeting.
we'll be right now.
Yeah, I got some stuff for you to find.
Bring-